All right, I'm going to, this is going to be the quick video for review sheet number 30. Okay, so it's just front and back this week. And there are a couple things on here that were kind of hard to read. The copying didn't really do a very good job. On this first one, now we haven't learned this. This is actually chapter 12. And we'll be doing this here in 2 weeks or so. We have not covered this yet. What I'm going to do is I'm basically going to make you like an answer bank. So basically I'm going to have you make this almost like matching. So I'll write them over here. You can write them wherever, but basically, I'm going to give you the three options that these could be, and you have to select. And I think when you see the names of them, you'll be able to figure it out. So the first one of these is called a rectangular, I'll just shorten it, prism. Okay, rectangular prism. One of the three objects are a rectangular prism. One of them is a triangular prism. And the third up there is going to be a square pyramid. Okay, so you can go through and select from there. So hopefully that'll help you guys to be able to, because I know since we haven't learned it, it's one of those things that you should know. You should know them, I think. Definitely these two we've covered. We've talked about prisms. The pyramids we haven't really talked about, except for you talked about them in social studies. So if that helps, that should make it pretty easy, I believe. Here we got to figure out whether we're talking about volume or we're talking about surface area. And remember last week we had a review sheet question that showed a toy chest, and we talked about how we had this toy chest, and if we were going to paint or we were going to cover any type of word like that, covering, or you're just covering it around the outside of it. So when we're painting, we're just painting the sides. The front, the back, the top, the bottom, the left side, the right side. Okay, you're just painting those sides. You're just covering those sides. Anytime you have a situation like that, we're talking about surface area. When we're talking about volume, we're talking about filling something, or we want to know how much. We're talking about something that's going to take up space, and we're going to be putting something into something else. So from there, I think you'll be able to figure out these five, I'm sorry. You can use V for surface area, you can V for volume, or you can use SA for surface area. But if you need to, you can go in and search volume or surface area. But I think you guys will figure these out because we've worked at this. So just remember, covering, painting, anytime you're putting something on the outside of something, we're talking about surface area. Volume is filling something or seeing how much space something takes up. Number 3. Okay, volume. This is how I've taught you to do the formula. And right here is this formula for volume. It is capital B. It's very specific. I always want you to do capital B. When you guys write area of a rectangle formula, you do capital B times H. I tell you no, that's wrong, because you do not use a capital B. This capital B is representing the area of the base. So it's the area of the base shape. Remember, the base shape is the one that's being stretched. So you can see this triangle right here is being stretched to a back triangle here. So it's being stretched. Okay, so that is your base shape. So there, you're going to have to find the area formula, or I'm sorry, you're going to have to use the area formula of whatever shape is your base. Then your height is the distance between the bases. I'll say that again. Your capital B is your area of the base shape. Your little h is the distance between the bases. Another way to say is how far it is being stretched. Okay, that's kind of how I've taught you it so far. So that's how you're going to find volume there. Okay, you're not going to be able to just do length times width times height. There's definitely just some distractors going on there. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, now let's go on to surface area. Now surface area, I've taught you that there is no magic formula I'm going to teach you to find surface area. There might be a formula, but I'm not even going to concern myself with it. The way I want you to find surface area is I want you to list out all the sides. So maybe you do something like this. I'm going to say, okay, the front triangle. That would be just this triangle here that you see right there. Well, if there's a front triangle, then I know there's a back triangle. Okay, now we could call this side right here, I mean, you could call it the slant, whatever you want. I'm just going to go ahead and call it the right side. Then I know there's this side over here, that's going to be the left side. And then of course there's going to be a bottom, right? Then you're just going to need to find the area of all those different sides. Notice there are only 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas rectangular prisms, ones like the toy chest that I drew over here, that has 6 sides. That has a front, a back, a right side, left side, top, and bottom. That's 6 sides. This triangular prism here, this only has 5 sides. Okay? So once you find the areas of all those 5 sides, you are then going to add them up. Okay, so that's how you're going to find surface area. So do your best on that. I know it's chapter 13. I know it's front loading because it's all new. Sorry, chapter 12. I know we haven't learned it, but we've been working at it for the last few weeks on review sheets. So just do your best there. I gave you a lot of good hints there. Okay, terms, like terms, constants, coefficients. This is going to be out of your chapter 7 notes, and this is going to be learning target number 4. So any assistance you need there, go back to those notes. You will have no issues with that. Okay? Okay, now this was really, really difficult to see on your copy. I know that as I'm looking at it right now. Guys, these are all pluses. So they're not division signs. They kind of look like it on your copy. I'm really sorry that they do. But I can't. I tried to make it as dark as I could. It just didn't work out, and I copied them. I copied them before I actually could go through with a pen. So this one is a plus as well. This is actually a minus. That is a minus. Okay, so you're going to have to tell me whether that's equivalent to that. You know what skills. This is all Chapter 7 stuff. Okay, I want to say LT number 7. 6 or 7. I'll say 6 or 7. It's one of those. So if you go back to that chapter and that target, you'll be fine. Now, the one thing I just want to remind you of, I'll give you a little hint, is we want to simplify these. That's how we're going to solve them. That's how we're going to answer. So if I were to simplify it, I know I can take 2 sharks and 7 sharks, and I combine them to make 9 sharks, and then plus 3. So that right there is in simplest form. I'm going to have to do the same thing to this side, and if I end up getting 9s plus 3, then yes, they're equivalent. If I don't get that, then they're not equivalent. Okay? You'll have to do the same thing down here. Just be real careful of that subtraction sign there. Just like the one before this, guys, this is going to be a plus right here. This is also a plus. This is a minus. Okay? So just keep one thing in mind. Just remember, when you get this, first thing you got to do is put parentheses around any expression in your numerator or denominator, which I did there. Okay? Once I do that, now I'm ready to turn that algebraic into a numeric. So this one, you're definitely going to have to do this on a separate page. Okay, your work is not going to fit here. So I expect separate page here. Like the one above it, these are all addition signs. Okay, but again, parentheses must go there, there, and all that. And then we only do one step and rewrite it. So we had those on a previous review sheet or something. Here we go, what is this, number 7? Okay, expand the expression. We had one of these on review sheet number 29. This is also chapter 7 here. It was on review sheet 29. It was, I think, it was question number, I'll tell you right now. Number 5. It was question number 5 on there. We did one just like this. Again, the only issue here, and these are all pluses, is just be real careful with that minus. You just got to make sure you do that. Factoring, just make sure you use the GCF. Remember, factoring is the opposite of expanding. So if I were expanding this, that's when I would distribute to make it 2x plus 6. If I were taking this and factoring it, I'm going to put the GCF here and then kind of work backwards to make it look like that. So I know the GCF would be 2, and then it would be x plus 3. So that would be my answer there. So this is when you expand. This is when you factor. Okay? So there's your little example for that. So all in chapter 7 though. Josh purchased a pair of shoes that would have originally cost him $125. They were on sale for 35% off. How much of a discount did he receive? Make sure you pay real close attention to that question, guys. There's a couple different questions that I could ask. I could ask in some situations, I could say, how much did he pay for the shoes after the discount? I'm not. I just want to know what the discount is. So how much did he actually pay? I'm sorry, how much did he actually save? So you can bet that I'm probably going to expect you to do a proportion here. all chapter 6 there. Okay. Here, we've done one of these on every single review sheet for the past month and a half, I think. Probably you're going to need 2 proportions. That's one way to do it. There is a different way, but the majority of you use 2 proportions. Make sure you round correctly. All that will be counted, but you definitely need work there. Okay. And then finally, number 10. We want to know which store is offering the better deal per ounce, so obviously you need work here. You're going to need 2 proportions on this as well, because you're going to have to figure out the unit rate per ounce. So because it says per ounce, we need to know which one has a cheaper cost per ounce. So you're going to have to do 2 different proportions, one for Captain Crunch, one for Target, and then one for Kroger. Okay? So that's pretty much it there. Chapter 6 also here. So we did pretty heavy on, that wasn't chapter 6. That's actually chapter 5 on that. Okay? Let's go up here. Okay? It is giving you, and it's really hard to read. I know it's really blurry, but you can see what's drawn there. And basically, it says, what would the location of coordinate N be if you reflected it over the Y? Now, the first thing you got to know is you got to know which one the Y and the X is. It's already labeled for you, but the X is always the horizontal and the Y. So remember, when I taught you how to do reflections, remember, if it was something like this, and my point was right there, and I said, just imagine if he was that tall, and you were reflecting over the X is representing the edge of the water. So if that was 3 away from the water, then it's going to be down at -3, and then he would be here. See what I mean? That's your reflection. So if you're reflecting over the X, you just reflect it over, make sure it's the same distance away. Just like as if you look into a swimming pool. Okay? So this is going to be worth 2 points, so just make sure you do it. You're just reflecting the points. Okay? Here, we haven't really done a whole lot of these this year. Kind of got taken out of 6th grade, but it's always a good thing we're getting ready to go into 3D geometry in chapter 12, so we're going to start getting you to be able to visualize these things, okay? So a scale model of a museum made of cubic blocks is shown. What would the view be from 2nd Avenue? So basically, we're asking you to draw it, okay? So this would be the front view. This would be the side view. And then, of course, you'd have a top view. Okay, that you could look down. You just got to think about it. If you're from 2nd Avenue, what would you see? You know what I mean? Like if you like this one. I'll give you a prime example. Let's say the question was if it was asking from Main Street. Okay, that's the question. What I would do is I would think, okay, if that's me standing right here at Main Street, I would see on the left, I would see 3 cubes high. So I would redraw that as, ooh, that's ugly, but that's all right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I would see another column, and that one I would see that 2, 3, 4, and I would even see that. It would be 5 tall, so I'd make it a little bit taller. And then I would see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I know it's not perfect, but I know that I would see 1, 2, 3 on the left. I would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You wouldn't be able to see that that's pushed back because you're thinking of it as 2-dimensional. So when you're doing this, this is what you're drawing it from. So you're going to have to draw it as if what you would see it from your perspective. Okay? This question right here, we had the same question on last week's review sheet, except we didn't ask for the mode. But I told you this then. You got to think about this as a list. So if you listed these out, it would look like this. 4, 7, and then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. There'd be 5 2s. I'm just getting these from the tallies. There are 7 1s. There are 5 2s. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 3s. There would be 1. I'll have to reset. 4. There would be 4 4s. There would be 4 5s and 2 6s. From there, you're gonna have to find the median, which we've done all year long. So I don't foresee any issues there. Okay. Here is another histogram. Okay, so we've been doing these histograms the last few weeks. This is actually the same exact histogram. The only differences are the questions. This is going to be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different questions. Remember, not possible is a possible answer. Okay, last week that kind of threw you guys off because we had some not possible answers. But remember, there are no specifics in a histogram. like I look here and I say, okay, there are 5 people that ran in from 6.0, I'm sorry, to 6.5 to 6.9. And again, I apologize, this is so blurry, but I think you'll be all right. From 6.5 to 6.9, 5 people, I know 5 people ran, but I have no idea who they are, and I have no idea what exact times they ran. They could have ran anywhere in there, so you don't know any specifics. So you need to go through here and answer these questions, and there could be some not possibles in there. You're going to have to read through there and see. Okay? And that is it, I believe. I hope this helped, guys.